Alrighty everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be covering a little bit on PvP in the current meta. So right now it is 8:27:25. We've had Timeless Aeona and Fleeting Bella on here for a while, so this is mostly applicable to counter those types of teams. So there's quite a bit of strategy and notes and stuff that we could go on. So I'll go ahead and just open up a couple of people, and I'll be talking about some of the strategies and thoughts and counters on that. So most people, it depends on the skill level and the placement. It's all about the placement. If you are on the attacking team, most likely you have the advantage because it's easier to attack than it is to be on defense, because no one defense team could counter every attack team, while you could cater your attack team to be the defense team. So as you can see here, I am using a mass. Mass is actually one of the best counters to the current meta. So on the attacking team, it doesn't really matter quite so much where you position some of your characters, as opposed to defense team where it matters a little bit more. You want to try to counter as many teams as possible with your team. So right now I'm attacking Elfie, who is one of my clan members, and so it's important to note the blue line, and if you click and place mass, you could kind of see where mass is going to be going. So if I have it in the first two columns, it's going to be targeting Fleeting Bella at the top, and then at the other column it's going to be targeting the Timeless Aeona. Wherever the end position is, so you see it's hitting right here, mass is going to basically flip around and end up on this back corner right here. The important characters for countering teams in PvP are Mass, Augustine, Spectral Rain. So these are going to be the main characters. I'm just going to replace this right here so you could kind of see. So if you have them targeting two different characters like this, Escalarain is basically going to TP behind here and then do his summons. Then Mass is going to TP behind here and then just flip over. Mass teleport is instant, while Escalarain is not. There's a slight delay. Both of them you want to be in the front line. If Bella is in the second row while Escalarain is in the first row, Bella, if I place her down, you could kind of see her two summons here. Her summons will proc just in front of Escalarain, and it'll kind of take away some of the aggro. So if you're using a Bella with an Escalarain, you kind of want them to be in the back corner right here. The other thing is, if you have an Escalarain and a Mass in the same team, and if they're targeting the same enemy as an example, so let's like this, they're both targeting the same enemy, the summon from Escalarain is going to occupy the spot that Mass would be in, because the summon appears first and then Escalarain teleports. So Mass, what ends up happening is, instead of staying back here, she moves slightly towards the side, and so if you're using Escalarain and Mass on the same enemy, it's going to mess up your order here. So you want, if you're using both of them at the same one, you want them to be targeting two different ones. It's not ideal to be using the same two. Usually you just need one or the other. Instead of having two dive characters or backline characters like that, I'd rather use one of them and then an Augustine, if at all possible. So here's my Augustine. So what he does basically, when the battle begins, uses the chain to grab the furthest unit in a straight line that pulls them towards you. So if you have an Augustine right here in a front row like this, it's going to pull this unit right here, and then it's not going to really do anything. However, if you're doing an Augustine pull with something like this, what would end up happening is it'll pull the unit, and then they're going to turn around because they're aggroed on whoever is the character in front of them. So if it's like this or if it's like this, it should work, but it works best if Augustine is directly behind whoever is the closest character. So if, say, Timeless Aeona was exposed, so if she's in the back row column, or if she's in the second column and there's nobody behind her, you could use an Augustine to hook them, pull Timeless Aeona, and then she will turn around and face the Mass. So it's the same strategy with Mass and Escalarain. When you are attacking and diving with these characters like this, Timeless Aeona is going to focus Mass, Mass is going to be behind her, so Timeless Aeona is going to turn around and shoot. Basically, her beam is going to go like this. If you're using an Escalarain and a Mass at the same time, then her beam is going to go sideways like this, because it's based off of the opposite side. So whatever side that you're on with the character that you're diving on, you want your Timeless Aeona to be on the opposite side of that. So if I was to go like this, basically this is how I want it to be, because my Mass is basically going to be teleporting and it's going to be ending up on this upper top column. So I want my Timeless Aeona to be on the opposite column. So if Timeless Aeona was on the bottom here, and I was triggering a bounce to go here and then here, then I would invert it and I would put my Timeless Aeona on this side. But because it's over here, I'm going to be doing something like this. If you wanted to do a double chronometer strat, so say you have chronometer 5, I would drop something like Quinn, and then I would do something like this, and that would trigger 2 blood souls immediately, and then I would be able to use Timeless Aeona, and basically I would be able to get my ult off 2 seconds faster than the enemy team. So that's very helpful, especially if you're using a mass dive, because when their enemy TA ults, they're only ulting the mass. So what I typically do is I put the immortality relic on mass so that when she drops below 50% she starts regenning her health, and so that's a way to keep her alive longer, because once mass dies then the rest of your team starts to take attack from Timeless Aeona because she's now turned, but you don't have the attack speed debuff on all of your characters. It's just on mass. Again, that's just the tricks you do to survive. So I would probably do something like this is how I would do it. It wouldn't be optimal, or I would rather pull the fleeting Bella out of the way, because the Quinn, she could ult from anywhere and it affects everybody, so it's not a good target to pull. However, if you pull a fleeting Bella, that's better, because now fleeting Bella will only ult on the enemy Bella or the enemy whatever who else is on the front line, whether that's a Gilrain, a Mass, or another tank. But for me, I would rather do an Augustine in this comp, and I would do something like this, pulling around the way, so it's just Timeless Aeona unbuffed without anything else going on. That's kind of how I run it. I'll go ahead and get this started. For the ult rotation, you would just do something like this, and then for your third one, it doesn't really matter if I do Augustine, that'll get Blood Moon, or I could do Bella for a stun. For me, it shouldn't matter. It should be a victory. From here, I'll turn on 1x speed so you could kind of see how the teleport in the pool works. Oftentimes, it depends on how the enemy team has their team staged. I know Elfie does not have a chronometer. This team will not basically be beating my team because I have Bella with the chronometer. So my Timeless Aeona should be ulting at 3 while theirs should be ulting at 4. Sometimes they do Timeless Aeona Quinn on their defense. Sometimes they do Timeless Aeona Fleeting Bella. It's different. Sometimes I've even seen them start with Quinn so they could beat the Timeless Aeona. But if you're running a team that has Chrono, then it doesn't work. So we'll go ahead and get this started so you could kind of see. So the mass teleported. Oh, that actually screwed me up. So you see here, Timeless Aeona is now on the back half. She's ulting. And so me pulling my Timeless Aeona actually screwed me over with the Augustine. So now I'm just ulting the Fleeting Bella. So that actually messed it up. But as you could see, it was able to wipe out most of their team regardless. So yeah, using Augustine, usually I have him in the second row and not the third row. So that messed up the Timeless Aeona. So whenever you have a Quinn on the enemy team, usually it offsets it and it messes it up. And then the downside to using a Fleeting Bella is that you have to wait for her to come back whenever she's in the rotation. So that's kind of how it works. I'll do a couple more battles so you can see various different teams and such. I do have a couple of just saved loadouts. Holo I'll do because it's probably, I think he's number 1 right now. Pretty strong Timeless Aeona as well. And they also typically run Chronometer 5 team as well. Alright, so if I look right here, I could see where my mass is basically going to be attacking. So she's going to be attacking Timeless Aeona here. So I'm just going to basically mirror just like this. And then my Gilrain, basically he's going to be bouncing to the same location no matter where I put him. So I'm probably not going to be using him, and I'll just be using something like a Quinn instead. Then I'll just do something like this, so she's kind of protected for as long as possible. Something like this. Mass doesn't typically get an ult off, so the downside with Mass is that I think she's still bugged in PvP, and she has a 10 ult cost, so she won't use her ult despite all of the reductions until you have 10 blood cell energy, if she's still alive. So this is kind of how I'll be running it. I don't think my Fleeting Bella and Quinn have gear on, or artifacts on right now, so we'll see how this does. So we both have 1 Bella, so that means we should both be triggering our Timeless Aeon at the same time, but hers will be targeting just my mass and mine will be hitting everybody. So we'll go ahead and get this going. So you see, now she's turned, everybody's on her, we're both ulting at the same time. Everybody has attack speed down, just my mass doesn't have attack speed down. So if I wanted to keep my mass alive a little bit longer, I could do Quinn instead of my Timeless Aeona, but as you can see there, I didn't need to for that one. And so you could kind of see the damage, 4670, while theirs hardly did any to that mass, because mass was able to just stay alive. So that's pretty much it. Maybe I'll do one more. If I could find one more, who can I attack? Another thing that you'll see often is people using Noah. Sorry, they'll have something like this. Well, they'll put a Noah profile picture with a low BP team, and people will get baited by it, kind of like this. They're like, oh, and they don't whatever check it accurately. So we'll just go ahead and see what their bait team looks like. So here they have Timeless Aeona in the back line. So my mass strategy basically wouldn't work because it'll just be bouncing to the two. So instead what I would do is I would just swap mass out. I would move Bella forward, and then I would do something like Augustine, and then I would maybe bump her back just like that. And then what will end up happening is they'll hook Timeless Aeona, and then she's gonna turn basically and face the Bella copies right here. It's kind of difficult with her being on the same side, as it'll probably be safer if I do it right here, because that way she's less likely to trigger it. Then I'll go ahead and set this up. Alright, and then that way I'm also avoiding the Lorelei. It's kind of weird because with the Bella, Lorelei actually gets offset because of these two summons, and so basically she's going to angle off to this way, or she's going to angle off to the other summon, and not, if it was directly in front of me, then the triggering might work a little bit better. But we'll go ahead and run it just like this so y'all could see. So you see Timeless Aeona got hit here, and she's pulled, and then now she's going to ult basically just the front half, and then my back half corner behind Augustine is going to be safe. So these three characters did not get hit by the debuff, then that's just going to basically keep my team alive. So here you could see that they did a Quinn ult first instead of any other ult, and so yeah, that's kind of how that runs. So you don't really need a Blood Moon anymore for this meta. It's just basically, do you have Chronometer 5? Yes or no? If not, how do you counter it? So again, you could kind of see the damage differences between them. So that's kind of it for the current meta of PvP. I feel that was pretty talked about most of the different characters in the teams on there. That's how you counter them. Basically just Mass, Escalrain, Augustine. It depends on where they're positioned and how you do that. As far as defense, let me talk about defense a little bit. So typically you want something that looks a little bit like this. For Mass, when Mass is teleporting to the enemy side, she will prioritize moving same way that it's set up. So it's going to be right to left, top to bottom in order of defense of teleportations. So if mine is on the bottom here like this, it's going to be inverted on the bottom here. And so that's actually a very annoying position because, again, Mass is prioritizing. If it's an equal distance between two locations, it's going to prioritize the higher of them. So when Mass is teleporting, she's basically going to be coming in and hitting whoever, like it doesn't matter who. Every position on this row is going to hit the middle spot. It doesn't matter if I have anybody in all three of those rows, it's going to hit the middle spot. So Timeless Aeona is safe here. If it was the opposite, it has a chance of hitting basically the top spot because the priority for moving up as far as what is furthest distance-wise is going to be from right to left, top to bottom, is kind of how it is. So for me, this is a very safe spot to be, and then I have Mass here just because it'll go to there. This counters Augustine because if I do an Augustine, it's going to pull one of these two. If I use a Mass or a Gilrain, they're going to basically hit over here, and so it's still a good counter because what ends up happening is my Timeless Aeona is going to get turned, going to ult like this. And so it's still weak to a Mass and an Escalrain, but it's not as bad because he's still able to get out a good damage ratio off. And then especially if they're doubling up on an Escalrain and a Mass, then it's just a matter of whatever, how your team is built. Like there's no one good defense team that could win all. Like this will handle most teams, but it won't handle a Mass. It'll handle like an Escalrain, and it'll handle an Augustine, but it won't handle a Mass. So that's kind of it for the strategies. Hopefully this helps provide a little bit of insight into PvP. As for specifically Gauntlet, I might do a Crucible video at some time. The issue is that if I look here, it's been like 45, oh, wait a second, I saw, I was actually attacked. So it had been 45 days since I had last been attacked. So now I could actually do something here. Devils actually attacked me. Really wish we could see replays. But anyways, nice job. Shout out to Devils for actually attacking. Literally, I've never been attacked. Hopefully that helps again. Sorry, this keeps rambling towards the end. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.